morning. I'm Tim DeFalco, the Director of Technology for the Haverhill Public Schools. And on today's episode of Tech Times, we'd like to introduce you to our newest iSchool location here at the new Hunking School that just opened this January. So let's take a look inside. Here at the iSchool, just as our iSchool at the Haverhill High School, we have both face-to-face appointments for staff and we have group workshops. A lot of the things that we cover are the technology that's here in the building and throughout the district. So there can be workshops and one-on-one training sessions on Google Suite, on School Brains, on the interactive whiteboards that are in classrooms, and also the interactive TVs and touchscreens that are in the classrooms. We also have the ability here at the iSchool to demo new products that we test out, that teachers can come into the iSchool, demo the products, and see if that's something that can be integrated into the curriculum. For example, one of the products that we're demoing this week is the HP Sprout. Let's go take a look. Today we're going to demo the HP Sprout. It gives us the ability to do not only interactive touch technology, both from a screen and a mat, but for several subjects gives us the ability to interact and add and manipulate the items. So for example, I have the beating heart. And if we were in an anatomy class, I can rotate the heart in any direction I want for any view. And then I also have the ability to add and subtract things like the valves, the ventricles, the veins. And as we go in a lesson like this, we can learn one by one where these things are located in and around the heart, and then also follow up to how they affect the heart and the entire body overall. There's an extensive app suite in the HP Sprout, so not only can we look at science-based apps, but we can look at music, art, geography. Here's one in terms of our piano time. If we want to learn how to play piano, we just move it down to the touch mat, and then we open the app. We can sample to learn, but we can also note by note play an example and learn the keys. A few of the other items we're going to demo for you today, Brian Nagel, our iSchool supervisor, is going to demo both our 3D printer, show you how you can create literally objects through a 3D printer, as well as our interactive touchscreens that have clear touch ability to bring up any applications, any web-based items, as well as interactive programs.
All right, so I'm just going to show how 3D printing works. It's one of the, I hate to say trendy things that is in educational technology, but it's a cool technology that's out there now where we can take 3D objects and actually produce them in a physical sense. So let's take a look. This software is 3D Sprint, and what we can do, just as a quick example, is I can pull in a design that somebody else has made before. 3D modeling, it's a cool concept, and I can just take it and I can just make sure that it'll fit into the space that I have for printing. So I'm just going to scale this down real quick so we can see it. Just shrink it to the small, and we'll move it into our space here so we can see it. So you can just see the model, 3D model. I can move around in this platform so you can see the physical platform that's going to print out on here. And I'll just make it a little bit larger so we can see it. And there we go. So we have this 3D model. If I designed it myself or brought it in from somebody else, it's ready to go. And then I can go ahead to add it to our printing system and then send it to print. And it's a long process, and what these printers actually do is they print layer by layer. So this particular printer prints with liquid. Some other ones will print with like a plastic film, but it dips a platform down into the liquid and then builds it piece by piece by piece. And so when it finishes, this particular one took over 5 hours to print, but when it finishes you have a model like this. Just going to put it over on our sheet here since it's still a little wet. But you can see how it prints, and all I have to do is take it off of the platform, and then I have a physical representation of that model. And you can see a couple other examples that we printed out of the same printer as well. And I might just add that this idea of 3D printing kind of takes the best of technology. It allows you to do the physical stuff of design and piecing together the parts in software, but then actually producing it in the real world as a physical object. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the ClearTouch displays. They're basically a smart board on wheels so that you can wheel it around and use it in a different environment, whether it's a gym or outdoors or in a conference room or something like that. So let's take a look. It's a touchscreen computer. So as we turn it on, we can just slide up, and then we're at a point where we can just log in. So as it logs in, we're presented with the computer, so I can do all the traditional computer stuff where I can go into Google or open up a program or all that. But because it's a full-featured touchscreen, it's really nice to be able to use a smartboard type of app. So I'm going to just open up this app and talk about a couple things that you can do with it. Gone are the days of the physical chalkboard or the dry erase markers. We have a digital surface that we can write on. So right away I can just come in here and just start writing in here, and we're good to go from here. It has multiple points of touch, so whether I need to draw something that has multiple steps to it, or if I have multiple students coming up to work with it, it's ready and available, and I can work with it from there. And I have options of erasing. In here it actually recognizes my hand too, so I can just kind of rub it away with my hand, or I can come in here and just clear the whole page. So I don't need to worry about the chalk dust and marker drying out, and I'm ready to go. I can even come here and change some colors and thicknesses in here, so it can look a little bit better that way. I can even bring up another page, so I still have screen one over here, and maybe I want to draw a shape. So I can get close to a square, and it'll make that for me, circle, triangles, and it's smart enough to be able to move stuff around and work with it from there. I'll go ahead and add another page in here, and I can change my marker type to something that's a little bit more made for like a calligraphy. So if I'm doing a script of my name, you can see how fancy I can make that look on my own. And then I can slide back to all my different pages. So if I'm setting up a lesson, I can go from page 1, 2, and beyond from there. So that's pretty nice. And then I can even change our backgrounds. So we can start with, instead of just a green color, I can switch that out and have something different to look at. But because it's a computer, I have some nice options of just changing something to a little bit more stylized for younger grades, or something a little more practical or artistic. And I even have some built-in backgrounds. So for the sports coaches in the world here, I can come up here and I can do my best John Madden impression and diagram the play, pass over here, and then work with everything right from there. So that's pretty great. And they even have some text recognition tools in here. So if I'm writing my best in there, it can come in here and try to recognize that text and convert it to something that's not chicken scratch and work with it from there. So pretty cool interface, and it's a great handy teaching tool, and just building all these different screens, easy to come up and show something, have the students come up and work with it. And then I can save it all, and I don't need to worry about erasing it or it ruining my screen at some point too. So a great feature for the Hunking School.
So now that you've seen what we can offer here at the iSchool location at the Hunking School, we also have in every classroom in the Hunking either Chromebook carts for every student to have a Chromebook or an iPad. There's interactive whiteboards that every teacher can display in their rooms, and also interactive touchscreens. With the focus of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math here at the Hunking School, it gives students the ability to learn hands-on for those technologies. We want to thank you for spending some time with us today here in the Tech Times, here at the iSchool location at the Hunking School, and also sharing in some of the current technologies and new technologies that we're looking at that can help enhance classroom instruction and students' ability to learn through technology. Once again, I'm Tim DeFalco. Thanks for joining us in the Tech Times.